Assalamu alaikum. I hope everyone is well, inshallah. So we're going to do another live Q&A today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get the share link and share it with you guys, so you guys can come on and ask your questions live, inshallah. Okay, so that's the link. And what I want to do, inshallah, today, just as a quick wa alaikum salam to everyone, Maz, Samir, Ihsan. Hope everyone is good, inshallah. So here's the link, guys. You're more than welcome to come on. If you have any Dawah related question, you guys can ask on the live, or you can put it in the comments section of this live stream, inshallah. Okay. Maz, what is it that you wanted to know my views on, bro? Please let me know, inshallah. Wa alaikum salam, Ahmed. So Samir is all saying my English is weak. You can try, inshallah, to if you could just try to, Samir, if you could just try to write your question and see if I can understand it, inshallah. It'll be better in English, because this is on the English channel, so everyone else can benefit. We have someone that's joined us. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa
How are
barakatuh. How are you, bro? I'm good, brother. What's your name? Sorry, I can't read your name. I can't read. I think that's Hindi, if I'm not mistaken, or language similar to Hindi. Your
how are
name?
you?
I'm okay, akhi. Jazakallah khair. How are you? Can you hear me?
Hello, brother. Imran Hussain, Hazrat Imran Hussain.
No, 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 Hazrat akhi. But how you? Can you hear me, bro?
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, there's a delay. There's a bit of a delay on the audio, I
I
think.
don't know, there is a delay in our.
Yes. What's your question, brother?
I am alhamdulillah fine.
Okay, there's quite a big delay, but let me know your question, brother, inshallah. And
Yeah,
then,
there is a big delay. I am big fan of yours. Okay, I am following from past maybe 3 years.
subhanallah.
Yeah, actually there is a delay. There is a delay. That's why we are getting a late response. And okay, actually, yeah. Hello.
Yes, brother, you can ask your question, inshallah.
Yes, I am actually I am follower of from past 3 years, and my name is Salman Jaba. I am from India, Gujarat, Godhra, right? So I am a I am a big fan of your, and I saw your all video, all kind of video. But there is something misconception about my mind, right? Something like that. I was very Islam. I was a very too much follower of Islam, but nowadays I am just not. I am practicing. I was practicing Muslim, but I just watch some video regarding like Muslim. Just people, our we Muslim, lot of people just talk about the things, but they are not actually following the things. Okay, I follow those people on Islamic path. They just only talk. Why they not follow the thing? That is the big misconception in my mind.
Okay, brother Salman, jazakallah khair, bro.
See
Bro,
around
I'm gonna take you off the live stream, bro. I'm gonna answer your question, inshallah, brother Salman. But I'm gonna take you off because there's a big lag and it's freezing up on my side as well. So I'm gonna answer your question, but I'm gonna take you off now, akhi. But it's a good question. Jazakallah khair.
yeah.
Okay, so just so to answer Brother Salman's question, so Brother Salman, just to let you know, there was quite a bit of a big lag, so I couldn't keep you on. But Brother Salman asked the question is he used to practice, but he's been a bit thrown off because people, Muslims especially Muslims online, they, we talk the talk, but then we don't walk the walk, and this sort of it doesn't inspire, brothers and sisters to follow, the deen, and it's a brilliant question because it's something we should all think about and focus on, which is, look, if we claim this is the truth, we claim to follow Islam, we claim to, recognize the truth of Islam, we believe in Allah, we believe in the Quran, we believe in the Prophet ﷺ, then why don't we follow this? Why is there this disparity there? And I think one of the main reasons, especially today in the times that we live in, is that let's put it simply, we're lazy. People are lazy, right? We're all lazy to a degree, and it's the age of laziness in a way as well, because things are so comfortable. We are told, do whatever you want, don't do anything if you don't want to do it, just take it easy, relax. Everything is so easy and it's so slow, and we don't want to make the effort anymore. Especially the youth, younger people, we don't want to make the effort, and Islam requires a degree of effort. Islam requires a degree of effort to be made on our part. And it is sad, and it's something for us to think about psychologically as well, is why is it that we claim to believe something is true, but we don't follow through with it? And if you find yourselves, anyone watching this, if you find yourself in a similar position, that Islam is the truth, you understand that it's from Allah, you understand all of these things, you claim to be Muslim, but at the same time, you're not following it or adhering to it, or not even trying to follow it. Why is that the case? Ask yourself the question. Because the reality is, in this life, brothers and sisters, Allah's given us time. Now, if we act or we don't act, if we follow or we don't follow, Allah's given us time to do what we want to do in this life. The results of this we'll get in the hereafter. So I think people become lazy. That's what it is. We become very, very lazy, and we don't want to put in the effort, and we don't want to make the sacrifices that are required, because we're just, in some cases, we're too used to bad things, sins. In some cases, sins that or fulfilling our desires, that it's very hard for us to leave those desires. And just because we don't get the immediate repercussions of committing sins sometimes in this life, we think it's okay, and we become used to committing sins and used to, just procrastinating, I guess is the right way of seeing it. And we become lazy, and then our iman goes down, and then we become busy with other stuff. And before you know it, we're Muslim by name, but not by action. And this is a big problem. So I think it's a case of, look, everyone wants to do something meaningful and significant in their lives. Yeah, especially young people. They want to do something meaningful, something that makes them feel driven, something that really motivates them, so they feel like they've achieved something. Apply that to your Islam. Make the commitment to stick to what Allah has said. Make the commitment to draw closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And see that as a challenge. See it as a challenge. And give yourself, set that challenge for yourself, and then struggle with that challenge. And that's where you're gonna really, not only are you gonna get, become inshallah a good practicing Muslim, but you're gonna feel good about yourself. You're gonna feel like you've achieved something truly meaningful. So that's that's the advice I would give to Muslims that may claim to be Muslim but are not practicing it. We have Aqib, I think it's Aqib. Salaam alaikum. You can ask your question now, inshallah.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum, bro. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, good. And you?
I'm good, bro. Mashallah, if I'm not mistaken, you've come on before as well, bro, haven't you? I remember, I think.
Yeah. A long time ago.
Yes. Alhamdulillah. How's things?
Yes, everything goes fine. Alhamdulillah. Actually,
Mashallah.
I don't have any question. I just want a suggestion from you. I don't know you have watched any of my videos or not. I make in Hindi or Urdu, especially Dawah type of content. So I pinged you on Instagram. I don't think you have replied to me. So no, don't worry.
Bro, I don't use Instagram much, so I don't check my DMs or my notifications much on it either.
Okay.
Sorry, bro.
Okay. So I just wanted a suggestion that you also know Urdu, right? So
Yes.
when you look at Urdu Hindi videos, like mainly the Dawah type of content, so do you think that there's any something missing which is available in English but not available in Hindi or Urdu, which the audience should, which the audience needs actually? Mainly, I'm talking about the Dawah type of content. So, is there any suggestion you can give me? I
So
have my own channel. Yes, yes.
that's a good question, bro. I think there's so I don't watch many Urdu Dawah videos, but I know. So look, as far as spiritual content is concerned, mashallah, there's some brilliant content. Like Youth Club do some really amazing videos. Taha, Ali, Zia, Bhai, all of them, mashallah, do brilliant content in Urdu. As far as motivational, spiritual type of videos, there's a lot of motivational content in Urdu, but there's, as far as I've seen, or the little I've seen, there's not much as far as showing or the strength of Islam. It's an intellectual tradition, it's intellectual strength, so sharing that, and also, breaking down some of these murtads and their claims, these ex-Muslims, so-called ex-Muslims that are doing lots of stuff in Urdu. I think they need not a direct response, don't debate them, but just really break down their ideas and show, why they're false. I think that type of content will be very powerful, inshallah.
Okay, okay. Like the content that you make, those type of content, right?
Well, yeah, similar in Urdu. I think that would be good. I haven't seen much of that in Urdu, to be very honest.
I actually have made a few of your type of videos also. So
Share the
I
links
don't
here,
know.
bro. Share the links here in the chat section, inshallah.
Okay, inshallah.
Yeah, definitely share them here, bro. I'll check it out, and that way everyone else here can see it as well, inshallah, and share it.
Okay, inshallah. Okay.
Jazakallah khair, bro. May Allah bless you.
And you too. Jazakallah khair.
Wa alaikum salam. Assalamu alaikum. We have brother Hamad.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa ta'ala
Wa
wa
alaikum
barakatuh.
salam. Wa alaikum salam wa
Are
rahmatullahi
you
wa
good?
barakatuh. I'm good, brother. How are you?
MashaAllah, alhamdulillah. Yeah, I'm fine, thank you for asking. Jazakallah khair. So I have a question on why the new atheist movement, why do they misrepresent science? Why do they say that science supports them and why do they always say that they go with logical reason? Because the new atheist movement, I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with science anyway. So I just wanted to ask on why they always say that they support science and whatever.
Jazakallah khair, bro. Brilliant question. So there's a few ways we can look at this, bro. We can look at this historically, and we can look at this from the perspective of their sort of worldview and why they sort of need that dependence upon science. So let's look at it from the perspective. If we briefly look at it from a historical perspective, you've got to remember that it was, during the period of the Enlightenment, there was a shift in the thinking, in the way people think. So they went from thinking in a religious way, as from the perspective of the Christian world, to thinking in a more of a secular, rational way. Rationalism became very popular, and then at the same time, roughly the same time, you had the scientific revolution, and so they coincided. The philosophy of the Enlightenment thinkers, which was predominantly getting people to focus on the material world, material progress, creating a worldly paradise, and all of these things, and that coincided with obviously the scientific revolution, which was about discovering the physical material world. And all of these things laid the foundations for godless ideologies to arise, because they had utility, not because they were true, right? And this is why I always mention this quote by Alistair McGrath in his book Twilight of Atheism. He says that modernity and atheism are two sides of the same coin, and it's a very interesting insight because they support one another. Modernity, the focus of modernity is the material world. It's about progress in this physical world. The sort of thinking or ideas behind ideology such as atheism is, again, materialism, the physical world, no God, no creator, nothing. So they go hand in hand. They're on the same trajectory, and they sort of therefore complement one another as well. And that's why you see atheism, being popular to whatever degree is. It's not really popular. And also, I think another reason is because a lot of atheists like to think that atheism is, and again, historically, they saw turning away from God as freedom from the Christian church and its dogma, right? So they've always seen it that way, and therefore they see science as the method of inquiry of the free person, and they consider themselves to be the free people who are freed from the dogmas of ancient fables and ancient religions and ancient ways. So they, and this is why and especially on top of this, then you have these new atheists, who have taken to science and are scientists. And this is why I always encourage Muslims that Muslims need to get involved in science again. Muslims need to be scientists and study the
Yeah.
science and not be afraid of it, because it's a method. Science itself is a method. It's neutral. It's not pro-atheism, pro-religion. It's nothing to do with this. Science is a method to study the physical world, the material world, to try and understand this world. The first scientists in Europe were not atheists. They were people who believed in God. They would be people who followed, they referred to as natural theology. So they believed there was a creator behind this entire universe, and they believed this creator created the universe with order, that there was order behind it, and they were simply trying to study and understand this order, right? And this is the reason they did science, because they knew there was order within the universe that they can study, that there was patterns within the universe they can perceive and pick up on, and they believed that because they believed that there was a cause, a creator, right? But unfortunately, over time, as the world moved away from God, further and further away from God, and you had the advent of new atheism, they continued to do the science. And just because you have not all scientists atheists, but many scientists that lean towards atheism or agnostic, there's a perception that's created, that atheism and science go hand in hand. Atheists are scientific, science favors atheism. It's not the case. Scientism, which is a philosophical outlook, which is not science. Scientism itself was something that was introduced by the logical positivists in the 1920s. Now, the logical positivists were a group of, you can say, atheists who believed that science is the only way to truth. If science can prove it, then it's true. If they can't prove it, or anything else that comes from any other method of inquiry is not true. It's not worthwhile. We shouldn't even think about it. Whatever comes from science is the truth, or the empirical method. So they push this notion of scientism. Now, most atheist scientists are people who ascribe to scientism, and they try to mix the two things, right? Science as a method and scientism as a philosophy. But they're two separate things. Science is a method. Muslims in Islamic Spain, for example, for decades, centuries, were, the leaders in the discipline of science. They were the ones that were doing the science. They were the ones that were preserving the works of the Greeks, translating the works of the Hindu philosophers of the past, of the Greeks, and building upon that knowledge, And then the West, it was in its dark ages. But the period, why did the Renaissance happen? If you really think about it, where did these Europeans get access to Greek knowledge, to the history? A lot of it was from the Muslim world, right? A lot of the stuff, the documentation and the work that they brought over and they built their foundations on this, and developed their sciences off, was from the Muslim world. But then they want to do away with that history as well. So this is why Muslims need to study their own history. Islam never had a problem with science. If anything, Allah encourages us to do what we call science today, to study the physical world, to study the universe, the signs of Allah all around us.
Yeah, alhamdulillah as well. It's because of Islam. I also started studying a lot of physics as well, self-studying, alhamdulillah. And I never came across any issue or nothing to do with new atheism, atheism, other than the steady state model, which is gone now, and and physicists probably wouldn't go back to that since it's gone because of the cosmic microwave background and all of the other evidences for the Big Bang.
Yeah.
And it's as well the movement of scientism. I think it rejects other ways to get truth. For example, logic or mathematics, which what science basically depends on. They basically reject that and say science is the only way to truth, and they'd be rejecting philosophy and lots of things.
It's really stupid, bro, the claim, because if you say science is the only way to truth, that's a truth claim. How do you validate that claim scientifically?
You can't. That's why
you can't take that statement and put it into a test tube and measure it, right? You can't do stuff like this, right? And like you said, science depends on mathematics, and logic and all of these things as well. Now, again, without God, how do you make sense of the laws of mathematics, the laws of logic, the physical laws? Where do these come from in the absence of God? So to do science, you need to believe in a cause, a creator.
Yeah, and as well, what I wanted to say is that I forgot what I wanted to say. Oh yeah, I remember. So when they said that anything that's not proven by science is basically false. I mean, science never has. Science cannot prove anything. It's all theories and speculations as well. And if
Absolutely.
something is proven by science, it's basically doesn't become a science anymore. It becomes a law. I don't, and nothing in science can be basically proven because of the problem of induction.
Yes.
Because anything, there is always new evidence that can come to, and then against the evidence for a theory. For example, Darwinian evolution, just to name one. There can always be basically other evidences that can come and basically against the Darwinian theory as well. And this, for example, if Darwinism was the only theory that is absolutely true, there wouldn't be any alternatives to it. I think it would just be Darwinism, it would be a law. But there's a lot of speculations, and I think the new atheist movement misrepresents it because in academia it's a very speculative one.
Beautiful point. That's actually a very powerful point. Jazakallah khair. Absolutely, bro. It's. I mean, they say we only believe what comes from science to be true, but science doesn't deal with absolute truths. It's based on what's most likely to be the case, but they can never say anything's 100% true. That's not how the way the method works. So they need to consider that as well. But this is why when certain atheist scientists push the idea, and it's become mainstream now, which is, for example, that evolution is true, it's a fact, right? This is more ideologically driven than as a scientific fact, right? So and people need, again, if the more Muslims learn about this and understand this, the less problems they're going to have as far as reconciling science and Islam. It's not an issue.
Exactly. And it's also they comment a lot of them, but not all of them. They comment what's called the fallacy of equivocation, which you're probably familiar with. It's basically when they're conflating Darwinian evolution or other theories of evolution with basically biological evolution. Basically, biological evolution is observable. Yes, we know that. But basically, biological evolution is a fact. But theories, basically, for example, neo-Darwinism, epigenetics, these are all theories to describe how this process happens, basically. But they basically say it's all one thing, but that's a fallacy. So
absolutely, but this shows that there's more going on than just the science. There is a ideological drive here, and an agenda which they're trying to push through the realm of the scope of science, which is terrible and needs to be exposed. To be very honest.
Indeed, I absolutely agree. Yeah, thank you very much.
Jazakallah khair, bro. May Allah bless you.
Jazakallah khair. Ahsant. Barakallah feek. Alaikum.
We have Qazi. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, bro. How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. So, bro, I have only one question about the atheism. So, it's very unfortunate that our youth today, especially the Muslim, they're indulging in atheism without knowing any of Dawnism, what Dawnism is and what not. But how to deal with this? And they claim that there's the humanities above the religion. How to deal with this?
Sorry, what was the last part? Can you say that again?
What last part? Yeah, last part was the Muslims are telling that the religion, the humanity. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Subhanallah, we've lost him. Inshallah, Qazi, if you're there, please come back on. And if you can ask your question again, bro, just before, I won't answer it right now. We'll wait till you come back, inshallah. We have, I think we have Brother Salman. I'm not sure if Salman has already asked if it's the same Salman. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Salman. How are you? Wa alaikum assalam. How are you?
Yeah, I am fine, alhamdulillah. Also, there is one thing I would like to add.
Yes.
If a non-Muslim, if someone like, let me try to explain something like that. Okay, if I say something about Islam and scientific method in front of a Muslim, so they always discard the thing. This is a science. This is that, and this is that. But why they are not actually know the fact? That is the also misconception in my mind.
Sorry, so when you speak about science to Muslims?
Yeah, when we talk to Muslim people about science, they don't listen my things.
It's a good point, bro. And this is, again, a problem within some of our Muslim communities, that they completely turn away from science. They run away from science as if it's, God knows what it is, if it's something evil and it should be stayed away from because it's going to destroy your religion. This is not true, and this is, again, adding to the problem. These types of opinions, bro, are keeping Muslims away from the science, studying the
Yeah.
dunya. Look, what does Allah tell us in the Quran, right? Allah, for example, tells us many times, so many times throughout the Quran, that His signs are all around us. His signs are within the heavens and the earth. His signs are within the horizons. His signs are within yourself. His signs, He will show us His signs. Allah also tells us that, in the creation of the heavens and the earth, there are signs. So Allah is pointing us towards His signs. Where are His signs? His signs are all around us in the world. How do we now engage with the signs of Allah? How do we now observe the signs of Allah? What do we call that today? We call that science, right? That's what they call science, the study of the physical world. Science as a
Yeah.
method, like I said already, science as a method is not there to prove or disprove the existence of God or any other metaphysical reality. Science is simply there as the method of science is simply there to help us try and understand the physical world that's around us. That's it, right? Now, as Muslims, when we do the science, understanding that Allah's signs are all around us, then when we do the science, we can do the science to study the signs of Allah, right? And when we do that, this will increase our iman. And again, if you look at some of the things science tells us about the universe, about the atom, about the solar system, about the galaxies, the black holes, it's amazing. Subhanallah, it blows your mind, and you think,
Obviously.
Subhanallah, how amazing is the creator that created all of this, right? So it's
Alhamdulillah,
something that
mashallah.
Muslims should engage in, but the Muslim should realize that science is not there to disprove God, yeah, and it's not an alternative to religion. Science is not an alternative to religion. Science is dealing with a different sphere of life than religion is. Okay, religion, in particular Islam, is there specifically to tell us about the why type of questions. Why do things exist? Why did Allah, Allah create us? What is our purpose? These questions, the why questions, are not questions for science. Science deals with the how. How does the sun rotate? How does the earth revolve around the sun? How do the seasons change? How do the clouds form? It answers the how, it doesn't answer the why. Now, just because science answers the how, it doesn't mean there is no why. Just because science can't deal with the why question. Yes, you have to understand these things holistically. So and this is, again, if you can understand these things as Muslims, then you should go and do the science and study and get involved in the sciences, because I really think Muslims can offer a lot to the scientific method. It's just a case of really getting back involved in the scientific method and not losing yourself in the process just because you don't have a good grounding in the Islamic tradition. So Muslims should ground themselves in the Islamic tradition and then go and do the science as well, inshallah.
Yeah, right.
Jazakallah khair,
Also,
bro.
I would like
Yes,
to.
bro. Yep.
Yes. Also, I would like to add one thing. If someone if someone Muslim got or award, scientific award, so Muslim people just spread the things. Wow, Muslim just got a award, right? And spreading the things. But if non-Muslim people got the award, so no one Muslim people not talking about that things. Why?
Bro, I
This
think
is one kind of a ratio.
yeah, it happens, and it's again, I think it's because we see science as something that's greater than it actually is. Number one, right? And I think it's specifically related to the fact that we see science as a European enterprise.
Yeah.
What the European has developed and given the world. It's unfortunate we have these complexes as Muslims, especially in the East. We see the Western world and we see it as something amazing, something so glorious, and that they're the leaders and we are to follow them in every single way. So when a Muslim gets a scientific award and we see science as a European enterprise, we get really excited, which is not a bad thing in some ways, but that complex is a bad thing, because we forget, and the problem is we forget what the Islamic world gave Europe, and that was priceless, because that's what Europe took and then developed. And whatever Europe is, whatever the Western world is today, it has a big debt to Islam and what Islam contributed, historically speaking. So and again, if Muslims were to know this, they would be more proud of their tradition than anything else. So I think that's probably one of the reasons to answer your question.
Yeah, right, got it.
Jazakallah khair, bro.
Actually, I was very practicing Muslim past, but nowadays I am not too much following, because I saw around in my area Muslim people just uh, just talk, not implementation. Because I am a
Yes,
science student, that's why they
mashallah.
always blaming on me. Okay, science is like not working in Jannah, yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah, but you
So
should ask them.
there is
Well,
a big misconception in my mind, and that's
yeah,
why
no,
I
bro.
am
You
following from past
don't.
3 years
Yeah, Akhi,
and
I'll give
Hamza
you
Bhai.
one piece of advice, bro. Don't follow the
Yeah.
people if they're not on the look. Muslim, if
Okay.
they've got a problem with science, what's science going to do in Jannah? What are they doing for the deen? How are they practicing? You say they're not practicing anyway, right? So they're not doing anything, and they don't want you to do anything, right? So if anything, bro, be a leader. Think to yourself, I'm not going to be a follower. I'm not going to follow these people like a sheep. I'm going to do what I
Yeah.
need to do as a Muslim. Be a good Muslim. Be a good scientist, and then be a role model for other young people, bro. Inshallah.
Yeah. That's why we have to don't follow major Muslim. Like when I follow you and Hamza Bhai and Dr. Zakir Naik, I am totally satisfaction. I have a totally satisfaction on Islam. But I listen some another like my in my area Maulvi, okay, Maulana. So I don't too much satisfy. Like I
Akhi,
follow the
may
Tariq
Allah
Zamir.
bless.
I got good
Yes,
response.
yeah. May Allah bless the scholars and the ulama. May Allah increase them. But you have to remember, bro. Unfortunately, some of our scholars and ulama are not up to date with what's happening in the world
Yeah.
and how the world works. They are not up to date with these
Yes.
things. Yeah, religious knowledge, they are uh, on another level, and we have to turn to them and seek their advice. Absolutely, bro. Yeah, don't never discredit them.
Oh.
Never discredit our scholars just because look, we're all human at the end of the day, bro. Yeah, so there will be areas of knowledge where they don't know, right? But take from them what you can take from them, which you know is their speciality, right? But when it comes to other
Yeah.
things like you're doing, just keep doing, keep studying, keep researching, and keep moving forward, bro. Inshallah.
Yeah. Any kind of misconception, I saw your video, Amzabai video, and Mufti Mank. So I got
Alhamdulillah.
satisfaction.
Alhamdulillah, bro. Just keep
That is
doing
the
what you're doing.
main
May
thing.
Allah bless you. May Allah increase you, bro. Inshallah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Akhi, I'm gonna have to go to the next brother who's waiting on the line, inshallah. May Allah bless you, bro. Take care, inshallah.
Thank you. Thank you. Very
Assalamu alaikum.
satisfactory answer.
May Allah bless you, bro. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Jazakallah.
We have brother Naveed. Assalamu
Assalamu
alaikum.
alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa
Wali.
rahmatullah.
How are you, Imran?
I'm very good, brother. Jazakallah khair. How are you?
I'm fine. I would like to draw some attention about the two atheist channel which are working from last 1 or 2 years, and they are getting so much attention towards our Pakistani listeners, Indian listeners, Afghanistani listeners, and Bangladeshi listeners because they do their streams in Urdu language, and they are spreading lot of misconception and towards Quran and Hadith, and they mix their things with science, and they do the wrong logic. So our teenagers, which they don't understand, and they are in the complex of white people and the broad people, so they are listening too much about them. One is Haris Sultan. He is very good debunked by Mr. Daniel Hakikatu. And the one is left, which is Ghalib Kamal. And one thing more, they are doing above more thing that last week their follower has come to your channel by the name of Gulzar Elia and show that he is a Muslim, but he questioned you a few things and then recorded that and then go to the atheist channel Ghalib Kamal and discuss all the things about and make mockery of you and many things. So I would like to suggest that you are a knowledgeable person and you have very good team. I think, like Haris Kamal, you should also visit or have a dialogue with him because in Pakistan there is no one there to answer him because of the English language and the internet and the social media sort of things. So this is the very critical problem because day by day the teenagers come to their channel and questions the things, but due to their lack of knowledge, because due to their less age, they get impressed by them. They think that when they are giving answers by Quran and then science and then logic, they think that they are right. So please address this thing very seriously. And these are my things for you. And you are doing the good work. So that's why I've tried so hard to get you and on your channel. And please address this thing very seriously.
Jazakallah khair, bro. So look, there's a few things I would say in regards to these guys. Yeah. Firstly, if then there's Muslim youngsters watching this and that may watch this, is that you, like mashallah, brother Hakikat, you dealt with Haris Sultan a few weeks ago. These guys have literally no clue what they're talking about, right? They are superficial in their knowledge. They make things up, and they have a particular agenda. Now, whatever their agendas are, right? Whether it's money, whether it's just they have some sort of psychological, issue in regards to their personal experiences, which whatever leads them to do this, they're foolish, right? They make things up. They try to confuse people, and the best piece of advice I can give Muslims is don't waste time with these people, right? Because if you look at their strategy, right? For example, someone like Haris Sultan, look at his strategy. He is desperate. He is so desperate. He's looking to find people to continuously debate. He got wiped in the Hakikachu debate. If anyone watched that debate a few weeks ago,
Yes.
now he's desperately chasing Sabur, right? And he's desperately trying to debate Sabur, right? These guys, they have no, what's the word? They have no shame in a way, right? He gets dealt with, and then he still wants to carry on. And this shows, look, they're popularity hungry. They're seeking fame, and they will do this at any cost. And the best piece of advice I can give Muslims is just don't waste time with them. We've got a principle that we follow here. Any of these murtads, ex-Muslims, especially people like that don't know what they're talking about, we don't give them the time of day, bro. To be very honest, we don't waste time with them. We don't draw any more attention to them.
Sorry, I would like to interrupt. Sorry
Yes,
for
bro.
my interruption.
Yes.
Look, after the debate of Hakikatu, the Haris getting so desperate. He's crying on his channel. He is talking nonsense, more nonsense, and now he's getting confused. That's why I'm saying if the same person like Hakikatu or something like you will go to Ghalib Kamal, then he will also know that what is Islam and what is science and what is everything. And there, the person who are following them, they will see the difference between him and us. So that's why I'm saying this, because after the debate of Haris Sultan, he has lost a lot of followers, and he is arguing with him. Why don't you say this? Why don't you say that? There is a fight going on his channel. So that's why I'm saying this. It has to be somebody who will go and stop them spreading the lies and the things which don't exist in Islam, because they have only two topics: sex slave, sex slave, sex slave, beating of wife, beating of wife, beating of wife. And they don't know what two are these and what Quran says about that. But they give their own meaning to them. But they give their own meaning to that ayats. And the teenagers don't consider that. That's why, yes, many people are avoiding them, but lot of teenagers are going. They will not stop until and unless some sensible person will go there and challenge him about these things, like Hakikatu. Look what Hakikatu has done. He has destroyed his channel. He has destroyed his all phenomenon. So that's why please consider my request.
No, definitely, bro. And I'm sure one of us, or I think maybe someone like Brother Hakikachu is probably best suited to these types of discussions. But it is interesting you mentioned this, brother, which is that they pick on one or two things, right? Which they think from today's quote unquote subjective standards of morality and subjective ways of looking at the world, that they can take these things and they could try to misrepresent Islam and draw people away from Islam based on these things. It's funny they pick on these things, because when it comes to more fundamental topics, like the existence of God, like the foundations of atheism, like the foundations of Islam, they don't want to discuss these topics, right? You seldom see them discussing these topics because they can't defend the foundation of the worldview or the outlook that they're standing upon, right? So it's, I mean, that in itself exposes them to a great degree. But I definitely would, I've made a note of what you said, bro, inshallah. And I'm sure, I think, maybe we can discuss it with brother, someone like brother Hakikashu, or if he may have already had a plan, may have a plan to do this, inshallah. And I'm sure it will happen very soon if this is, a big issue for the Muslim youth, inshallah. But as a side point, I would definitely, encourage the Muslims, especially the young Muslims, to not waste time with people like this, right? Because they have a clear agenda and they just want people to, or, ignorant people, and I say this with the utmost respect, ignorant Muslims to leave Islam based on one or two things that they're interpreting in their own way, and they are trying to push as, oh, this proves Islam. How does any of these small topics disprove Islam anyway? Even if for the sake of argument you were to assume that their interpretations may be correct, how does that disprove that God exists or Islam isn't true? It doesn't have any bearing on that. But Jazakallah khair, brother Naveed, for your point. May Allah bless you.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much.
No problem, brother. Jazakallah khair. Okay, we have Qazi.
Assalamualaikum, bro.
Iqbal. Wa alaikum salam. How are you, bro?
Alhamdulillah. So, bro, just moving to my question. So, today the Muslim youths claim that humanity is beyond religion. So, how can we deal with it?
Yeah, they say humanity is beyond religion, but they have to also realize that as the more humanity moves away from religion and God, the more problems that they're going to have and issues that they're going to have. And some of these are evident. And it's interesting you brought this up, bro, because I've just finished recording a series of videos for Sapiens Institute today, inshallah, on what I consider to be two of the fundamental problems with the modern Western civilization or the modern world, which to a great extent has turned away from the belief in God and the hereafter and all of these things. And I've highlighted, the two key issues, which I believe are nihilism and consumerism, or materialism as a way of life. These two, I mean, nihilism in and of itself highlights the failure of modernity as far as addressing the human being and the human condition, right? So yeah, okay, fine. People are moving away from religion, but look at the adverse effects of this as well, right? People are losing sight of who they are. They don't know what the meaning of life is. Morality is becoming subjective. They're experiencing what you would call moral nihilism, where it's all subjective, epistemic nihilism, where there is no truth. Truth is whatever you want to make it. Cosmic nihilism. All of the different facets of nihilism are being experienced by humanity today. People have everything from a material perspective, but are more depressed than ever before. So this highlights that there is a intrinsic need for the human beings, by their very nature, are spiritual beings, and we and the belief in God is intuitive. This is something that if you look at, there's a lot of scientific research on this as well now. Justin Albara, Oliveira Petrovich, psychologists, scientists who have studied children, and they're showing, well, human beings are wired to believe. Now, why they are wired that way, they can come up with their own theories. But the point is that it's a part of our nature, and when you turn away from what's natural to your human condition, you're going to lose your way. And human beings are losing the way. I mean, sure, look, the modern world has given us some amazing things, no doubt. But at the same time, there are some fundamental issues. There are big elephants in the room that need to be addressed, which are not being addressed. And you can't, those problems such as nihilism and so on cannot be addressed in the absence of religion and God. So I would get people to think about these things. It's important to think about these things.
Yeah. And one more question is that this one of my brother, he believes that Allah is there, but he denies the worships. He denies that there's no salah, there's no rosa, there's nothing. How to give an answer to this kind of person?
Why does he deny it?
Allahul A'lam, I don't know. But he just say there's nothing is there. We are free. Whatever you do, just live a YOLO life. But it's equally claiming.
Yeah, this is the type of hedonism that's been promoted today, bro. So he's a product of the environment. And a lot of Muslims are suffering from this as well, where on one end we claim to be Muslim, but on the other end we are literally shaped, and our psychology is shaped by our environment, which is this secular, liberal, hedonistic way of life. Anything goes. You yourself are God, essentially. You have taken the role of God. You decide what's right. You decide what's wrong. You decide the way and the direction your life is to go in. You go fulfill your desires and have fun, YOLO. And that's the world that we live in, bro. It's the environment. So he needs to wake up, and you need to get him to, you need to ask him the question, why do you believe these things? Where did you get these ideas from? Who told you this? Ask him those questions. And Allah makes mention of this in the Quran, that have you not seen the one who's taken his own hawa, his own desires as Lord? Those are the times that we live in today, bro. People have taken themselves, their desires as Lord, and it's a big problem, huge problem.
And one of the last questions is about feminism. So most of our, I'm not talking about Muslims, but any girls that are living in UK or in whichever country, they just want to be feminist, and they just want to be free. They just say there's no man up, there will be just be women up or girls up. They want to be like as man, and they want to be, what I would say, I have no they want to be what I would say. They want to be in your life. They want to have a party. They want to live with the boys as they want. There should be no possession of the boys.
Yeah. Again, bro, it's the world that we live in today. The whole feminist movement, if you look at the history of it, was a response to the oppression of the woman in the West, and the status of the woman in the West. I mean, sorry.
They say the girls say India, they say that the women are very happy in the West. They said they are living the original life, while we as not living our original life. They say this type of claims in India.
You're right. Again, people don't. The problem is, bro, people are really dumbed down these days, and we're literally slaves to the propaganda that sort of affects us and is all around us. Where did they get these ideas from, man? I mean, what do you consider? How do you consider women in the West, for example, to be living the life and so on and so forth? Think about the way women are being used in the West as they're objectified, bro. I mean, they are one of the biggest driving forces of consumerism in the West. They're objectified to sell product. Is that something to be proud of? I mean, just think about it. I mean, so many different things, honestly. And this whole idea of feminism, and all the Muslim sisters, I really encourage Muslim sisters to do this. Really take some time to study what Islam says about the woman and think about this. Allah addresses women separately and men separately on many occasions in the Quran, right? This is something to be really, subhanAllah, be grateful for, that Allah hasn't just put you in the same basket as men. Allah defines you as a unique gender. And you're unique, and you have very special qualities that men don't have, and men have special qualities that women don't have. They're different. Now, what the general idea, one of the ideas behind feminism, what the feminists would try to do, so you're saying there's a difference. A difference means what you're saying is one is better than the other, that the man is better than the woman. No, just because there's a difference, it doesn't mean one is better than the other. Do you see what I'm saying? We're different, no doubt, biologically, physically, psychologically. In every way, there are similarities between men and women, no doubt, but there are some differences too. Islam acknowledges those differences and caters for those differences in a beautiful way. Islam gives men amazing role models, and it also gives women amazing role models to look up to, right? I mean, think about the amazing women role models in Islam, bro. I mean, and the sisters listening, such amazing role models. But what do women want to do today? Man is the criteria. Man is the gold standard. Subhanallah. What's wrong with the way we're thinking? It's
and the main problem in India is they are get affected with the Bollywood and the Hollywood movies. They think, wow, what a beautiful this is, and because like there's Ajib and this. And one thing they say, that why Muslims should do a parda? Well, it's a woman. Why they should do it? It's like this is like an hatred against the women.
Yeah, but the way I would address this is, look, the question is, who do you want to follow? Sisters, brothers, who do you want to follow? Do you want to follow what's logical? What makes sense? What elevates you as a human being? Following other people, especially men who run certain aspects of society and pull the strings and create narratives and want you women to dress in a certain way, so they buy certain clothes? Or do you want to follow the creator of the heavens and the earth, the one that made everything and everyone? What gives you dignity? What's going to really elevate us as human beings? Following other creatures, other humans who are as weak and limited as us, and who would tell us to do certain things not for our benefit, but for the benefit of themselves? or do you want to follow the creator of the heavens and the earth, who doesn't want anything from us, but anything he tells us to do is for our own benefit? Who do you want to follow? You know, and we don't
Yeah.
think of it like this. Women think, no, look, West, women dress like this, we want to be like them. It's again complex, Western complex.
And-
Oh, they're
and
like
one
this.
thing that-
Yeah.
And one thing to tell that even the Muslim women are get raped by the wearing the hijab, or they're wearing the doing a burqa, but they're going to raped. So what's the big difference then? Do they just have claims?
But that's not, no one's saying like this. No one's saying that's the reason. That's the fundamental look. The fundamental reason men wear what they wear and women do what they do or wear what they wear in
Yeah,
Islam,
yeah.
it should be because it's coming from Allah. Fundamentally,
Yeah.
that's the reason. You're not covering yourself for the men fundamentally,
Yeah.
or as the first point of call. And men aren't doing certain things for women. We're not doing things to appease each other. We're not subject to each other in Islam. We're subject to the Creator. Whereas outside of Islam, humans are subject to each other. Ideas, ideologies, views, propaganda. This is what we're subject to these days. So it's Islam elevates you as a woman and a man, and it really distinguishes you and honors you. The hijab is a powerful symbol of honor for the Muslim woman. It should be, if they see it the right way, but they don't. We're seeing things in a very distorted way. So I think sisters need to really take some time, and brothers, see what Islam says about the different genders, how it gives each gender its due time, and how Allah addresses the male and the female, how Allah honors each, and this is something we've forgotten. What we think is, even as Muslims, oh, there's a difference. Men can do this, women can't do this, therefore men are better than women, or the other way around. Who said anything to do with better or worse? It's nothing to do with that. It's just distorted ways of looking at things, bro. We need to really go back to our tradition and think about these things properly.
So, bro, my one of the last questions is.
It has to be the last one, bro, because there's a few people waiting. Yeah, inshallah.
Oh, okay, bro. Okay. Salam, bro.
Jazakallah khair, bro. Come back maybe next live as well, bro. Inshallah, then we can carry on.
Yeah, and bro. One last question. How
Yes,
to
bro.
connect with you? How to connect with social media?
Bro, I'll be very honest. The only social media that I really use and follow up on is YouTube. So that's the best place, bro. I know I have other accounts, but I don't really use them much.
Okay.
So
Okay.
here's the best place, inshallah.
Can I get your email address? Sorry, email ID?
So let me put it in the private chat, yeah. So I'll give you my private. But again, here YouTube is probably the best place, bro. Yeah. I'm gonna put it in the private chat so you can have it, inshallah. Here.
It's in StreamYard. Yeah.
So it should be in the private chat. I've sent it there, inshallah.
Yeah, I've got it.
All right, bro. Jazakallah khair. May
Okay.
Allah bless you, bro.
Okay. Salam.
Wa alaikum salam. So we have Rambo.
Assalamu alaikum, Imran.
Wa alaikum salam.
So Imran, I basically had my own name and I had my own picture. So then I thought that I'm going to discuss some personal stuff. Then I should remove the picture. I should remove the name. I'm
Alhamdulillah,
sorry.
bro. Whatever you're comfortable with, bro. Rambo's a good name anyway, mashallah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So basically, Imran, my question is basically, you talked about basically some ulama being outdated and everything like that, and I totally agree with that. And you at the same time you also respected them, and you actually don't give just a generic and generalized opinion, and I really respect that about you, because a lot of people just kind of like brush them off. And that's a really good thing you did. Thank you so much, brother. I know you guys always respect them. That's not the problem. My question is basically related to my father. My father is basically the kind of guy that you can't reason with. All right, you just can't reason with him. Okay, there's no possible reason that you can reason with him. I mean, I just want to, long story short, because I know there are other people waiting. Like he'll abuse everyone in the house for no reason. He'll abuse everyone in the house for no reason. He'll call them disgusting words. He'll call them all of these things, and then he'll be like, okay, after 2 hours, 3 hours. And then the next 2 years he'll do this again. I mean, he's a very impatient kind of guy. He's like I mean, I shouldn't be saying this, but I should say this to describe the situation in the best way, in less amount of time. He's like a 2-year-old in a 50-year-old's body, in a 58-year-old's, 57-year-old's body, because he is literally like that. Now the point that I'm trying to say is that because I'm a young person, and my brother is also a young person, right? And my sister is also a young person. Now first basically I want to talk about my brother and me too, because we want to get married, right? And we are basically earning some amount of money, but at 22 years old and 22 years old, I'm 22 years old, by the way. My brother is 24 years old. Now obviously at 22 years old, in Pakistan, a person is not able to afford a house. All right, there are obviously just 2% of men who are able to do that, even less than that, because Pakistan's economy is just like that. In UK, USA, you could survive on per hour jobs, but in Pakistan, it's it's a different situation. You have to basically make multiple sources of income and everything like that. You have to complete your degree and everything like that. And before that, you have to control your sexual desires and all of these things, because financial security is the thing that they want today. Now the problem is, Imran, I want to ask you this first question: is that what was the age that you got married, and was financial security basically a specific thing for you? And is that when you got married, did you basically put your wife in your father's home, or did you put him in your own home? Like, what was there where you got married and where you realized that this amount of financial security is more than enough? And my second question is basically, my father is. I think we'll go one by one. Then I'll go into the second question. This
Yeah.
now
So
is one.
so as far as bro, I think it's quite relative. Yeah. So what I mean by that is it's going to depend on each individual and their potential partner, right? So it depends how you want to make it work. Now I know it's not up to, especially in Asian families, it's not really up to the husband and the wife to decide what is an amount that they can survive on, right? Normally the family has a lot of say in when they believe that the son is ready to get married, right? And they will determine what that financial amount is. But I don't think that's the right way to continue looking at things. Otherwise, like you said, it causes problems. And it causes problems not only in Pakistan and India, but it causes problems in the West. One of the biggest issues we have in the West as well, for young brothers and sisters who want to get married, especially from an Asian background, they still can't because there's a lot of family pressure. Okay.
Because Imran, I'm
Yeah.
so overwhelmed by basically the demands the other person is. No, this is not a problem for me. By the way, my brother is watching movie in the background, so if you hear a laugh or something like that, just ignore it, all right? So
All right, no
basically, the thing is that I know that women are hypergamous. I know about all of these things, like hypergamy, like women always vary across and up in the market, in the basically social hierarchy system, and or you want to call it sexual market value or a social economic scale. Women always marry across and above. No, they never marry below. And those who do basically are above 30 years old, or there are some kind of concessions that they have to make for their age,
Well,
because
generally that may be the
obviously,
case, but you will get sisters, mashallah, that actually are a bit more level-headed from this perspective, right? So there would be more considerate in regards to this. So look, there's a lot of factors, bro. What I would say is, depending on, again, your specific family situation, bro, like how much influence would your parents have on when you can or can't get married? How much influence do they have?
basically the problem is when I talk about these things to my father, even, and he has just considered this recently, because, oh my god, this was a very long, this took a lot of time, by the way. When I approached him about these things, my brother too, he started saying all of these things, bad words to us, and then he started saying, you guys are disgusting. What kind of disgusting things are you talking about in these? I'm saying, father, I'm 22 years old. I passed my puberty when I was 9 years old. I'm 22 years old right now. How can you, like, sexual desires are basically natural, our fitra. It's like our fitra. Like,
Yeah.
God didn't
Yeah.
give us these just to crush them. He gave us this to, just have a beautiful relationship with our wife, to have children, all these beautiful things. Now, I mean, I'm just saying. Now, the problem is that I'm not able to afford a house right now. I mean, I guess, afford a little bit of a flat. But the problem is, like, if I bring my wife over here, and the kind of person that my father is, what if he reacts to all of these situations the way he does, the way he acts? And
Yeah.
how can I put my wife in my home right now? So basically, I have to control my sexual desires just to achieve my goals, and then I have to afford a home just to bring my wife over there. No, that's the problem, basically.
Yeah, life is a test. Yeah, it's going to be
Yeah.
difficult, and it's not only in this situation. Once you get married, inshallah, there'll be other tests. This is an ongoing process. Yeah, but one thing you need to, I guess, in your situation, consider is, number one, if you are okay with so obviously, if home situation isn't good, then it's going to cause issues. Then maybe if you can wait it out a little bit more until you can afford a really small place. Doesn't have to be a house, bro. I would say start low. If you can get a flat on rent, very cheap, it's going to be you and your wife to start off with, right? So
Yeah.
just do that, right? As soon as you're ready to get a flat by yourself, and get married at that point if you can, right?
Because
And then,
Imran, there's one thing to be abused in front of your father, and it doesn't affect you. But there's one thing, actually, it does, but
no,
whatever. I'll just
I
leave it.
understand, bro. I know,
But there's one thing to be abused in front of your wife, and then you lose the frame of
No, of
leadership.
course,
I mean,
yeah, of course, and it affects, and it can cause a lot of problems and issues and tensions already, and
Yeah.
it happens in families that are normally you would assume to be just the perfect family, right? Even it happens in those families. So there's always going to be tension somewhere, yeah, along the road, and there's always going to be a bumpy ride at times. But what you need to do, bro, is first thing I would do in your situation, and this is just advice, yeah. I would probably try to ensure that my financial standing is such where I can at least afford a simple place to stay, Yeah.
Mhm.
Even if it's on rent, that's fine. Just start there, bro. Get married, get that area sorted, and then keep working up and get a better place slowly as you go along, inshallah. Yeah. It may not be a wise idea to I don't know. Again, I can't. Maybe this ain't the right place to discuss this on a live stream anyway, bro. It's specific
Yeah.
details about your
Yeah.
home
Yeah.
situation and stuff. Yeah, even though
Yeah.
you've changed your name, etc.
Yeah.
But the best thing is, bro, from based on what you're saying, is try to get enough money where you can have a flat on rent, and look for a person. And that may take a little bit of time, but look for a person. Try to look beyond the physical appearance, right? And I know it's very difficult for brothers, especially in the
Sorry, I can't. It's very hard for me to
yeah. I mean,
basically. No,
and
no,
it's
no,
natural. Yeah.
no, it's not hard for me. The problem is basically, it's not hard for me. I promise you. In this
Okay,
regard,
alhamdulillah.
because
So look for character, bro.
but Imran, the problem, the
Yeah.
last question I'm trying to say is actually related to this. Basically, the madrasa women in UK are like the educated ones, right? The educated madrasa Muslim women. Now in Pakistan, it's basically a different thing. In Pakistan, the women that go to madrasa are basically the majority of the women that go to madrasa are not basically are basically are the people from the poor and the lower class families. The poor people a poor person is not a problem for me. I love poor women. I mean, that's not the problem for me. But the problem is the women that go over there were the women that were not able to afford the university and the college, all these educations. No, they weren't able to afford basically the women that go over there are the people that weren't able to afford the education, so they go over there. Now these people that go over there are from lower class and middle class, these very lower class families, right? And they basically have these etiquettes, right, that are not in line with Islam, and they basically talk in a very disrespectful manner. And I've seen these women, and I've seen
Yeah.
their fathers. Now the problem is that the madrasa women that go over here and the madrasa women that go over there in UK, those are very different women. Like over here, the madrasa woman would be uneducated, would be basically desi liberal, and the educated woman outside would be obviously educated in Islam, would be obviously like you could control her. Like the woman over here would be basically uneducated. Like she won't be able to represent herself in front of the people that you want to be represented with. That's not the problem for me, but
Yeah.
you get the idea.
Yeah, no, I get. But the key thing is, bro, like just look for someone with good character. As far as
Yeah.
look, no one's perfect, bro. And one thing you realize when you get married, that you develop and grow together. Yeah, as a couple, as partners. Yeah. So if there are some rough edges, look, you have rough edges. I'm sure your partner will have some rough edges. You grow and you develop together, bro. No one's perfect. Yeah, I can guarantee you that much. Yeah. But there's room for as long as you look for the key, bro, which is the key things. Someone who has an intrinsically good character, a sister that has haya, a sister that's modest, a sister that's balanced. And a balanced person doesn't need to be someone that's highly educated. Let me just tell you that straight away, right? For example, my wife, she's not highly educated, right? So but she has a very balanced mind, and she's very balanced in the character. So alhamdulillah. So look, there are certain things which you would know, okay, this person, the rough around the edges, don't worry about that, bro. You guys will grow together. No one's gonna be, you're not gonna find the perfect, sister, practicing, educated, everything in the beginning. But look for the key factors and then grow together over time, inshallah.
Yeah. I mean, I want to ask some other things, but I guess this is more than enough. We'll ask this another time, all right? So
Inshallah, bro.
basically,
Look, you got my email in the private chat. So just take my email down and just message me, inshallah, if there's anything
yeah,
else.
sure, brother. Okay, okay,
All right,
man.
bro.
Take care, man.
Take it easy.
Take care.
Assalamu
Man.
alaikum.
Allah Hafiz. Allah Hafiz.
Okay, so we have SJ.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. How are you?
Walaikum salam.
How are you,
Good,
bro?
bro. How are you? Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So basically, it is not a question, but rather, I'd like to get your advice on this. So, as university students, it is kind of compulsory for us to know all these ideologies. But sometimes I feel like when I get indulged in learning these ideologies and debating and getting involved in polemics in general, it affects your spirituality. So
Yeah.
I just wanted your advice as to how do you maintain this and that.
Okay, bro. So you're absolutely right. Look, the university campuses are hotbeds for different ideologies, and people will come with all sorts of different things and different perspectives. And this is normally, universities become a forum for people to debate and discuss these ideologies and so on. And this can affect you as a Muslim, especially when you're debating these things regularly and all of this type of stuff. So the best advice I can give you in regards to this, bro, is always take time for yourself. Don't feel the compulsion to have to always engage in these discussions, right? And you don't have to. You can step back. right? You don't have to. You can always step back and say, okay, maybe for a while I'm not going to engage in these discussions. I'm just going to keep going back to yourself, focus on yourself, spend some time connecting with the Quran. Just focus on yourself for a while. Take breaks every so often, bro, and then come back, right? So there's no obligation on you having to engage in these types of discussions all the time.
Right. I mean, like after some time, these shubuhat don't necessarily affect you. But it's just something with debates that once you go into them, it kind of hardens your heart a bit.
Absolutely, it does.
So
Yeah, it does, because it's the ego. The ego is always involved in debates, bro. Because what a debate's about, it's about overcoming the opponent. Your interlocutor, beating the opponent, overcoming them, winning the debate. Your ego's involved, it's going to harden the heart, right? So I personally would avoid debates, have more discussions if you can, right? So avoid debates, have discussions, frame them as discussions, right? So you're not there to win, you're not there to overcome, you're there to sincerely advise and understand and give your perspective, and that's the best way. I think that's a better way of dawah than debates are, bro, to be very honest.
Jazakallah khair. Just
Yeah,
connecting
so
with your second point.
yeah.
So since you have been in the dawah scene for a while now, I mean, I just want to get your perspective. There are some kind of people who we connect to on very basic level, as in like how do you know God exists and all this. We don't get into much philosophy, and then there are people who we get all philosophical. So my question is, from your experience, who are the people that receive the message better? Because from my experience, the formal type of people are the kind of people that receive the message much better.
Yeah, so look, in regards to this, there's no sort of clear pattern, right? That you can, it's not like definitively those people that engage more on a philosophical level won't accept and come around, whereas those people who are more simple discussions, they will always come around. It doesn't always have to be the case. There may be some general sort of pattern here that you can pick up on, but at the end of the day, I've had discussions with people that are deeply philosophical, that have come around to Islam, and I've had discussions with people that are very simple that completely didn't, right? So at the end of the day, bro, it really depends on the inner state of the person. Normally what happens is people that love sort of philosophical discussions and stuff like this, they're normally having a discussion not because they're seeking the truth, but because they just like engaging philosophically and engaging in rational discourse, right? So those type of people are not interested in the truth to start with, in most cases. But again, it's a wide spectrum, bro. You have to take each case at a time, each case individually, and address that person. And it's good to preface each discussion by getting, somehow establishing that you're there to seek the truth. You're not there just to have a discussion for the sake of a discussion or just to be entertained, right? Because that's not the purpose of dawah. And that's not the purpose of discussions. If you're having discussions with people that aren't genuinely interested and are there just to sort of exercise their intellectual faculties, well, yeah, you're not a gym for them. Let them know you're not a gym. You're not an equipment that they can exercise on.
Right.
You're there. You're dedicating your time, and you're doing it for a reason. And you want the person you're speaking to, at the very least, to be honest and sincere in the inquiry. That's what I will lay down as a foundation before the discussion.
Right. Jazakallah khair. Just these two questions. But on the first question, you said that take some time off and work on yourself. But I just wanted to know the details of what should I be doing on myself in this time that I take off.
Focus on your salah, focus on connecting with Allah, and focus on the Quran, and just basic things, bro. Take time reading the Quran, study the Quran, focus on your salah, improve your salah. Because one thing that starts to falter when your heart becomes harder is your salah. It becomes harder, you rush it, focusing as much. Really focus on establishing the prayer. Now, I know that may seem like, well, we pray all the time anyway, I pray all the time, but we have to, it's very easy, you could be praying, but your prayer may not be the quality it needs to be. So really focus on that, your connection with Allah, your spirituality, focus on those things, basically.
Jazakallah khair. Really appreciate for your time.
Jazakallah khair, bro. So what we're going to do, brothers and sisters, we've got 3 more guys. We'll quickly address them, 1 question each, inshallah, from you guys, and then we'll wrap up for today. So we have Maz, Anis.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Walaikum salam. Yes, I can hear you, brother.
How are you, brother?
Alhamdulillah, very good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I make videos on atheism actually on my Facebook for my audience
MashaAllah.
in Urdu for in Urdu.
MashaAllah.
So I
Brilliant, bro.
wanted to ask you about fine-tuning argument. My question is, what do you think about fine-tuning argument? Physicists like Brian Greene says that these mathematical concepts of nature have these values which are so precise, like weight of an electron, strength of gravity, electromagnetic force, weak force, strong force, etc., etc. But other scientists, like Aaron Goose says, it is fine-tuned for our form of life. We don't know what will be the consequences if there were other values than the values we have now. So my question is, so if other values can create other forms of life, on what basis do we say the universe is fine-tuned? That's my question.
Yeah, so that is that particular view. It's an assumption. It's not like I would like to know what he's basing that on. The idea that other values or other fine tuning, if you like, would result in other forms of life. Now, it's not that it's false, but there's two issues here. Number one, there's an assumption that the values could be fine tuned in another way and allow for life. Where does he get this from? That's the first thing I'd like to know. Like, have they done some experiments? How has he come to that conclusion? Because, like he said, we don't have the experience of this other type of fine tuning. So I don't know how he's come to this conclusion. And secondly, even if, for the sake of argument, that was true, that you can have other constants and quantities fine tuned to different degrees, well, that's still a type of fine tuning. Right? It's still the values and constants have to be arranged, even if they're arranged differently, they still have to be arranged in line with each other and according to themselves in a particular way for whatever other forms of life to exist. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, yes, I got it. Thank you so much,
So there's
brother.
two things I'll look into further.
Yes. My next question, and it will be the last question.
Yeah.
It's about Lawrence Krauss wrote a book on quantum mechanics, A Universe from Nothing. You know about it?
Yes.
Actually, he says that virtual particles can come into existence from nothing. So it means universe must be from nothing. He doesn't say it. He doesn't say it is from nothing. He says it is a possibility, because he says we can see virtual particles ruling, bubbling. Virtual particles can come from out of nothing. So what is the cause of virtual particles? There must be a cause. So it's impossible that something can come from nothing. Even the virtual particles, how can they can come from nothing? That's the first part. And
So-
second part is, can quantum mechanics be used by believers for their perspective? Because we can say a universe is so complex, as we know the concept of quantum entanglement. So it cannot come from nothing. So that's my question.
Okay, so let's address the first one. His book, A Universe from Nothing, Hamza's actually debunked this quite nicely, even in his debate with Krauss. That when he refers to nothing, what he does in a very clever way, in a very slight way, is he redefines what nothing means. He first lays a foundation, his idea of what nothing is. And when he redefines nothing, it's not nothing anymore. It's a vacuum. It's this substructure of energy from which particles emerge. So he's not talking about nothing as we understand philosophically and intuitively what nothing is. His nothing is something that the particles are coming from, right? So he's not arguing that a universe can come from nothing as in the orthodox traditional understanding of what nothing means philosophically, the absence of anything. He's redefined nothing as something, and then he's saying the particles come from that. So that's the answer to your first question.
I wanted to say something,
Yeah.
but he says on what basis does he say that virtual particles can come from nothing? What did he find?
If you
Why
read,
why do he say this?
no,
Why
so
why does he say this?
he's saying this based on his definition of nothing. He defines nothing as nothing, the absence of anything. He has his own definition of nothing, which is this vacuum, this sea of fluctuating energy. There's this space, there's this, whatever you want to call it, a substructure, a space from which particles emerge. But this vacuum he's referring to is not nothing. So he has just redefined nothing before he says something pops into existence from nothing. These
So it
particles.
means there is a cause of these virtual particles.
Yes, there is something they're coming from, according to his definition of nothing.
Okay, I got it. So
Yeah,
my
so
second part is, can quantum mechanics be used by believers for their perspective?
what I would say in regards to, it's an interesting discussion, bro, or a question. It's something to look into, because quantum mechanics it's a new field, and there are some very interesting things that happen on a quantum level, right? Very interesting things. Now, can they be used to substantiate or validate a theistic conception? I think they can, but how exactly is something we need to look into a bit more, because there are some very interesting things that take place on a quantum level, like the human consciousness of the observer has an impact on particles and so on. So it's, I mean, there's some very interesting things going on that level, but I think there's a lot more study that needs to be done in that field or area before we can make any claims. So that's what I would say in regards to that.
Thank you so much, brother. I had a discussion with Hamza Ali Abbasi. I saw your series with him. It was a very intellectual discussion. I loved it.
Alhamdulillah. MashaAllah.
Thank
MashaAllah.
you
Jazakallah
so
khair,
much.
bro. May Allah bless you, bro.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Allah
By the
Hafiz.
way, we're going to get Hamza back on,
Yeah,
inshallah, soon. Just
inshallah,
we're having a bit of a
inshallah.
pause, inshallah.
He's a very
All right.
fascinating guy, mashallah.
Very, very brilliant brother, mashallah. May Allah increase him and preserve him, inshallah. He's
Ameen,
a
ameen, ameen.
brilliant guy, mashallah.
Thank you so much, man.
Jazakallah khair, bro. Assalamu alaikum.
Allah.
So, brother Nastik or sister, I'm not sure. Assalamu alaikum.
Ji, walaikum salam. You are Indian?
No, I'm Pakistani. My parents are from Pakistan. I'm Pakistani.
Oh, अंग्रेजी नहीं आती फिर आप अंग्रेजी में बात करोगे वो आती नहीं
हाँ,
हमारे
नहीं, इस चैनल में इंग्लिश में बात करते हैं, उर्दू चैनल में उर्दू के लिए।
तो चलिए फिर उर्दू वाले में आते हैं, फिर किसी दिन आपसे बात करेंगे।
इंशाल्लाह।
एमेथिस्ट
ठीक है, वो उर्दू चैनल में जब मैं लाइव करूंगा इंशाल्लाह, उधर वहां पे हम बात कर सकते हैं।
हाँ ठीक है, ओके, थैंक यू।
ठीक है ना, चलें, ओके। Okay, the seeker. Assalamu alaikum.
जी नमस्कार सर जी।
How are you, sir?
I'm great, sir. I'm great. So,
how can I help you, sir, today?
Yeah, actually, I was listening to your discussions, right? And I'm from India,
yes.
Right? And I'm a Hindu. And I think I'm the last person. I think, can I take some time, or are you, you're about to close this?
We're about to close. You were literally the last person. But if you have, we can do one question, inshallah, today. So if you have one topic you want to talk about, something specific, we can address that.
Okay. So I think the topic will be, a bit of vast, but I'll just give you my point, which I want to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask a question, Imam ji, Hussain ji, right? I want to ask a question about the creation, right? I want to ask the question how things were created, the world, the everything, like about the creation. So can you give me some detail about the creation?
Yeah, so from the Islamic perspective, we believe in God, Allah, who is the creator, and what we believe about Allah is that He's eternal, meaning He has no beginning, He has no end, He wasn't created, He wasn't born, and there's nothing like Him. That's what we believe about God. There's a lot more as far as His names and attributes, but for now, for this point, I think this is sufficient. So we believe in an eternal creator who created everything that exists. So God is the source, the cause of everything that exists. That's what we believe.
Great. So see, Imran ji, I'm sorry, Imran ji.
I'm not an Imam.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm really
no
sorry.
Problem, bro.
Okay. Yeah. So Imran ji, I have the same, I just want to put it in a different perspective. All right. Am I audible now? Actually,
yes,
my battery is really low.
We can hear you.
Yeah. So the point is that we should be open to different perspectives, right? So I want to put up a different perspective here,
Mm-hmm.
right? The perspective is here. See, you as such, the Allah is He has been never created, like nobody created Him, and He's from infinity to infinity, right? In our perspective, we believe that we are from infinity to infinity, right? We believe that we are from infinity to infinity. I'll just give a small anecdote about this,
Mm-hmm.
right? We can have a debate or discussion, whatever it is, like that. See, I go to an ocean. All right. I go to a sea. Sea is complete. Right. Sea is, it itself is a complete. I take a bottle of water. I
Mhm.
take a bottle of water from the ocean. Is the ocean reduced?
Well, technically, yes, because the ocean is finite to start with.
Yeah, ocean is finite, right? So ocean is reduced with one bottle of water,
Yeah, to a degree,
right?
yes.
Yeah, to a degree, yes. Okay. Now okay. Now I come to I take that water and I put it into a bowl, right?
Mhm.
Now the point is that who created the water? The ocean created the water. Yeah, water was always already there. Who created the water?
Well, from my perspective,
Yeah, yeah. Like from your perspective, I'm asking a
we
question.
would say God created everything, so that includes the ocean.
No. That definitely God created everything,
Mhm.
right? We are talking about the anecdote, right? Now we'll keep aside for some time God and everything, right? I'm just asking you, who created the water? Is the ocean creating the water, or the water was already there?
So
I'm going
see,
to I'm going
the
there.
issue is my friend. The only issue is because
There's no issue, my dear friend.
no. I'll tell
We
you
are,
why.
we are
Sorry, just 1 second. Sorry, I'll tell you why. Because you're telling me to step out of my perspective to adopt another perspective to go along with your
there's no
analogy. So I don't see how that works. How I can do that.
No. I'm not telling you to get out of a perspective, or let's keep these things aside. I'm not saying
Yeah.
this
So
that
you asked me who created the ocean. I would say God created the
I'm
ocean.
just saying that I take a bottle of water from the ocean. Who
Yes.
created that water? Is the ocean creating the water, or the water was
Neither.
already there?
No, the water was there, which was created by God.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Now the water was already there, right? The water was already there. Nobody has created the water, right? The water is already there.
No. I didn't
The
say that.
God has
I don't.
created.
No, you see,
Okay, the God
you
created the
strong.
water. The God
Yeah,
created the. I agree with
yeah.
your point.
But the water
Let's
was there in
agree
the
with.
ocean. Yes.
Yes, the water was there in the ocean. Like, right now, the whole point of this is that I'm putting my perspective there, right?
Hmm.
It's not that I'm not against anyone, or we are not. It's
Hmm.
it's my perspective, or a Hindu perspective, I can say.
Uh-huh.
Right? You can see, we are from infinity to infinity. Nobody has created us. Nobody is going to, the Atman is always there. It will always be there, and it was there, and to always be there. The form is just going to be changed, right? Today, you're there. You are here as Imran. You're here as a human, right? Tomorrow, probably you'll be dead. You'll be, I'm sorry for that. I'm really, I don't mean that. But the point is that someday everybody is going to, and we will change that
Yes.
forms, and we'll slowly go into, a different form of life. Right. This is an Hindu perspective of life. Right. Again, I'm coming to another point. Right. Uh, how did I'm just asking you a question. Right. How did how did we come into this existence?
Well, we
Like
believe God.
my mother.
Yeah. Sorry, go on, carry on.
Yeah. Please.
So
Yeah,
we
tell
would
me.
say God, like I said, God created. So He created us in this existence, in
Okay,
this form.
Imran. Great. Uh-huh. So, Imran, we came into existence because somebody had sex, somebody, had a sperm and an ova came together, they fertilized, and then Imran came into existence and I came into existence. Right. Right. This is how it happened. Every human being comes into existence like this.
Mhm.
Right. Right. Now the point is that how does the sperm or ova or egg come into an existence?
Well, because so again, what you've described is that what we'd say is the means,
Yeah.
means that God uses to bring us into existence in this physical world. Where did the ova come from? The same. God created it.
Okay, great. Um, I have a different perspective,
Mhm.
right? The sperm came into existence because of blood. The blood gets converted into sperm, and then the egg is from the blood of a human, and the sperm which comes, it is also from a blood of a human, right? Now, the another question comes here: from where did the blood come from?
Was for something that preceded it.
Blood comes from, definitely, Imran. I really know I like you, Imran, because I hear you, right? And see, we may be having a contradicting situation, but still the point is that it's always, we should be always open for a discussion. So
Absolutely,
the
yes.
point is that, yes, so the point is that the blood came into existence because of food, the food which we eat, right? The food which we eat, it becomes the blood, it becomes the flesh, it becomes the energy from which we can do our daily activities. We can, and that activities include sex, right? That
Yes.
activity also includes sex, right?
Mm.
Because of the food which we are eating, we are able to convert the blood. We are able, it gets converted into energy, and we are able to do our daily activities, and we are able to have sex, due to which we are able to reproduce, right? Now, I have another question for this. So where this
But
where
I,
where
yeah,
yeah,
sorry, I didn't under. So I don't know where we're going with this. Like, if
sorry.
it's very interesting. It's just if you can just speed it up a little bit, bro, because I
Yeah,
have to leave
yeah,
soon.
yeah. So
Sorry,
sorry.
sorry.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really. I'll just speed it up. This is the first time I'm coming to your channel.
No problem, bro.
I
Take care.
I I I
I
I
would
just.
like to say take your time, bro, but it's literally I was gonna end
No,
after
no, no,
your
no, no. Yeah,
end your
yeah.
thing.
I understand. I'm really sorry. I'll just put my point in just 2 minutes, and we'll just close this off. All
Sure.
right. So the point is that from where the blood comes from. There's the blood comes from the food which we eat, right? Where does the food comes from? The food comes from the earth, the environment, the nature, whatever you call it,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
The right, it comes from there. Now, food, for a food or anything to grow, we need 5 elements. Like, I'm putting up the perspective of
Yep.
a Hindu perspective, for which we believe, right? Now, we don't believe in fact anything. We are the we believe, we are the seekers. You can, we seek for things.
Mhm.
We don't believe in things, right? So the point is that the food comes from the 5 elements, right, which we call as pancha mahabhuta. Pancha
Mhm.
mahabhuta means the sunlight, the air, the water, right, the space, and the earth. When these 5 elements comes together, right, when they come together, then whatever gets generated, like the food gets generated. Or you can say these elements, when these 5 elements comes together, we call it as pancha mahabhuta, right? And the 5 elements gets converted into things. Now these 5 elements, everything is getting generated,
But
right?
do you believe this, or or are you still
No,
seeking
I
this?
don't believe it. I seek it. You tell me. I
No,
grow a plant.
I know, I understand,
Yeah.
but everything you're telling me now, you're presenting a case, right? You're presenting things you believe as a Hindu. So
No,
I
no,
assume you believe
I
this, no?
no, I don't believe this. Can you tell
You,
me? I'm observing. I'm observing things. Right. I'm
okay, so
observing it.
if I say to you this isn't correct, what would you say? Hello?
Yeah, I'm listening.
So if I said what you're saying isn't correct, what would you say?
Okay. So give me an alternative.
No, no, okay, but before I do that, if I said to you that what you've presented to me is incorrect, What would your immediate
Okay,
response?
give me an alternative. Show me why I'm incorrect.
Okay, so until I do that, you believe this is true.
I don't believe in anything.
So then why would you want an
I
alternative?
no, I don't believe in anything. I'm saying what I observe. Don't you observe a plant? How do you
No,
grow a plant?
that's fine. We agree. So you're telling me what you observe, yes?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so what you're telling me are things that you've observed, right?
Yeah.
Now, do you believe what you've observed?
What I've seen, right? What come see belief again, very beautiful word it is, right? Because we now I have a Sanskrit background as well, right? Because English is it's a very a language which is having a very few meanings of words, right? Compared to our languages, Hindi or anything, we
Do
can
you
have
do you, do you,
multiple.
re- do you I believe that, but do you really believe that?
See, I'm coming to the point, right? So the point is that believe is a beautiful word, right? Believe is something. Again, believe is what? Believe what you see, believe
Do
what
you
you
okay? So
experience,
do you
believe
okay?
what you infer, from things which you are parallelly you can see. So the thing is that there are three different levels of things, right? So the point is that what I observe is what I'm telling you.
Okay, but I understand that, but you're telling
Yeah,
me
okay,
belief
fine.
is.
Now, yeah, I believe because the plant is
Okay.
growing, right?
So you
If
believe,
I
you do
keep,
believe in things then?
yeah, if I keep a plant without air, without sunlight for 5 days, right? Without water, let's five elements. I keep away two elements. Without air, without sunlight, the plant will die.
And that you believe, yes?
Yeah, because I can
Okay.
see, I don't believe I can. We
So
can experiment this. We
yeah,
can
so
experience this. We
that's
can
fine.
experience this.
I agree. I agree with you. We can experience
I
this. We
don't
can.
believe because we can experience this. Today, if you keep a plant and you don't give it a sunlight, you out of this five elements, you eliminate two elements.
Agree. I
With
agree.
three elements, the plant won't grow.
Agreed. 100% agreed. But my thing
Yeah,
is, I believe this. Do you believe this?
yeah, I believe this.
Okay, so you do believe things then, right? So it's not only you seek, you believe too. Because look, the
I
reason
don't
I'm the
see.
reason
The point
uh,
about a point is that it is not about belief.
no,
It
okay,
is
that's
about
fine.
what. See again. The point is that
Seeker,
the belief is about either you experience, either you can practically see it, either you can infer something out of it. If some three things get into this, definitely we can believe in something. If
brilliant,
three of
brilliant. Okay,
hmm,
yep. That's all. The reason I'm making this an issue, bro, is because if you say you don't believe in anything, all of these things that you say you observe, well, then it's pointless us having a discussion because I'm talking to someone that doesn't believe anything, and that will make me seem crazy. I would be someone that's mad if I was to do this, right? So I'm not gonna discuss something with someone that doesn't believe in anything or is not
okay,
ready to believe
okay,
in anything. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's very important to our discussion if you believe.
yeah.
Okay,
So
so if we can establish that you do believe things, and then let's carry on because it's very interesting.
yeah, sure. So see, so we have really very limited time. Definitely, I would join you again. So
Yes,
the
please. Yes.
my perspective, my point of view was here
Mm,
that see, I don't think that we as a Hindu don't think as uh, I as a Hindu don't think that somebody has created. No, nobody has created us, and nobody is is like an ocean, and the waters example, that ocean was already there. It was already complete. A bottle of water from the ocean or a cup of water from the ocean, neither the ocean created the water, neither the water created the ocean. The point is that it is was already there and it will always be there,
So
right?
you're saying, so
The
let me just so I can understand you. You're saying that the elements that you're referring to, right? The five elements.
even my dear friend, yeah, even my dear friend,
Yeah,
even we call it as pancha mahabhuta. It doesn't mean that they are god. It doesn't
that's
mean
fine.
Then,
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand because I really want to understand this. So you're saying the Panch Mahabhuta that you're
Mahabhuta.
referring to, okay? These Panch Mahabhuta, these have always been there. Is that what you're saying?
No, they have not always been there, right?
So what's always been there?
Okay,
You said
I'm
something's
coming to
always
this
been
point.
there.
The something has always been there, right? So the point is that I was about to answer this. The Pancha Mahabhuta are not God, right? They are not, they are not the creators of things. There is a Prakriti. The Pancha Mahabhuta comes from the Prakriti, the nature, right? There are two things, the Purusha and the Prakriti, right? Purusha and the Prakriti. The Prakriti is the nature, right? When Purusha and Prakriti comes together, then the life happens.
So how do these two things differ from the 5 things you mentioned earlier?
These two things definitely differ. The energy which is, the okay. I will, I'll take it into a hello.
Yes, you're here.
Yeah. Actually, my connection is really low. So let's take it in a different perspective. Okay, there are building blocks of this earth, which is the nitrogen, the oxygen, the hydrogen, right? Hello.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah, the nitrogen, they are there. You don't. It is not that the earth only has the oxygen. Oxygen is there in the universe, right? The blue, whenever you see a star exploding, right, the blue element in the star is the oxygen,
So
right?
okay, so
So
let me sorry, I just need to just so we can go through this a bit quicker. So what you're saying is what has always been there? You said something has always been there. Are you saying the universe has always been there, referring to the stars in the universe? Is that what you're saying?
no, stars and universe, they are not permanent. They are not.
So what is it that was always there?
That is the nothingness. That is the nothingness which everybody happens.
So there
We
was
had
nothing.
Yeah, there's nothingness.
So nothing.
There's
How do you
nothingness.
define nothingness for? How do you understand? How do you understand nothingness?
Nothingness means nothingness. There's nothingness.
So
Everything
comes from nothing. That's what you're saying.
everything comes from nothingness, and everything will go into nothingness.
Okay,
Right? Nothing.
how does everything come from nothingness?
Okay. How does everything comes from nothingness? Right. Now we come to this point. We call as avyakta and vyakta. Avyakta means something which is not been, which is not manifesting itself. Right. There are energies which are not manifesting itself.
But are there energies before they manifest
No,
themselves?
definitely no. There are energies where before manifest itself. For example, let's take an explore. I'm coming to the point, my dear friend. I'm coming to the point. Right. Okay. We are talking about the energies which don't manifest themselves. Right.
But they're not nothing then. They're still energies.
There are energies, right? There are energies. I'm telling to the point that let's talk about the things we are talking about. Avyakta, that means that don't manifest. Vyakta, that means that manifest, right? So I'm coming to the point. Avyakta, that doesn't manifest. That's shunya. That means zero. The concept of zero itself is a great, thing. Shunya is zero, right? Now avyakta means, I'll give you an example of avyakta. It doesn't manifesting. It's not manifesting anything. We are having a hydrogen bomb. Okay, we are having a or you can take a nuclear explosion or a nuclear what's happening in the sun, right? A neutron, until there is an hydrogen and hydrogen, when they collide, right, then they create an explosion.
Okay, but my friend, there's something important we need to distinguish here. What
Yeah.
you're referring to now, the energies that don't manifest are still energies. They're still something. So before that, you said it was nothing. Nothing is not energy. You have to understand this. Nothing is nothing, the absence of anything. So if you, so are you saying?
Well, I'm coming now. Nothing is nothing, right? When
Okay,
you
so
the 99% of the space, 99% of the space is just nothing. The darkness. That is what is there.
it's empty space.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
but
empty space. And now, if I remove that space, if I remove what is there, I just want to. There's light, there's stars, there's everything happening. But where is it happening? Where it
okay.
is happening? Where
Yeah. So
it
so
is?
Seeker, look, here's my
It's
issue.
happening in nothing.
Before we wrap this up, I really want to understand something. Do you
Ji,
believe that everything that exists came from nothing, not energy, because you spoke about energy later, from nothing, or is there a cause, a creator, a god? What do you believe as a Hindu?
see, as a Hindu, we believe, as I believe, right? I won't take everybody's things, because Hindu are 1 point so many people, 1.3 billion people of Hindus. I'm just myself, right?
Mhm.
Right. And uh, I'll just give you a small introduction about myself. I'm a Brahmin, right? I come from a Brahmin family, right? And I have studied science. I'm myself an engineer, right? And
Wow.
a part of that, I've also studied some part of Vedas, and I've done some uh, some research on that as well. So, as I can say about myself, right? As a Hindu, what I believe about the creation, right? We were already there. We. It is not that today somebody has created. No, 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 no. We were already there. We will always be there.
So it wasn't
And
nothing. It wasn't nothing. According to you, we were always there eternally. So there wasn't nothing.
we were always there, and we will be always there. And only the form is going to be changed,
See, the reason
right?
I'm asking, because a few minutes ago you said we come from
Yeah,
nothing
yeah.
and we go to nothing. So is it that we come from nothing, or that we were always there? Which one is it?
No. I will quote. I will quote about the Bhagavad Gita, right? We and I about that we were already there, and we will
So
always be there. The only part, this is a very long journey, right? It's about a very long journey
okay, but I'm a
in
bit
which
confused. You have to clarify this for me. Like, I'm a bit confused. You first said that we come from nothing and we return to nothing, and now you're saying,
nothingness is always there. See, the point is that we are talking about creation, right? We are talking about something, creation. And if we are talking about creation, that should be something. It cannot be, the creation cannot happen, without something. That should be. And I'll tell you a story about this.
oh,
What Upanishad.
before the story, please clarify this for me. Which is it that you believe, that we came from nothing and we
See,
will return to nothing?
I personally believe that we were always there and we will always be there. But as per you don't know the Hindu perspective, the literature and these things. I'll just put forward about that. That the Brahma,
Yeah.
the Ishvara, the Brahma was complete, right? He himself is complete. He doesn't matter that you pray him, you don't pray him,
So
you
okay, 1 minute. When you refer to Brahma, right? Is this what is this being? That the Brahma? What is the being? Tell us.
he is not a being. It's not about being. Being is very small
So okay, what is
thing to put
Brahma?
it.
What is Brahma?
Brahma is Satchidananda. It means everlasting, which has always been there, which is always will be there from infinity to infinity. It doesn't matter that a human on anybody. I'm sorry, any any form of you worship him, you don't worship him, you're an atheist, you're XYZ, whoever you are, right? It doesn't matter, because Brahma is Brahma. is complete, is Purna, is you know, he is just complete.
Yeah,
So
it's very similar to what we believe about Allah, that Allah has always been there, eternal,
yes,
absolute,
the
complete,
Brahma,
unlike
the
anything you can
Brahma,
imagine.
yeah, the Brahma is like, you know, is complete.
Okay,
He
so
and
Seeker,
everybody.
help me understand this. Help me understand this, please, because I don't want to forget my questions because it's very interesting. Brahma is complete, is eternal. We're not saying being now. Just say Brahma, okay? Is it complete,
Brahma.
eternal, independent, unlike anything we can conceive of? Okay, that's what we get from what you're saying. Yes. Now, at the same time, you said that we as humans have always been there. Now, what is the difference
No,
between?
Not. I'll just quote. We as humans, not necessary that you have always been a human.
No, not
You may
human.
be some kind of a human. You today
Okay.
you're a human.
Yeah. Okay.
Probably
So, yeah.
the
So
energy.
the energy of you, right?
Yeah,
Your energy, you're
the
saying, has
see
always been there. Mhm.
the Chetan has traveled. It's a very long journey, right? It's
Okay.
a very long
So
journey
what's the difference between
from
the
a
Chetan and the Brahma?
Okay, I'll come. What's the difference between the Chetan and the Brahma?
Because when you explain them, they seem like the same thing. Both are eternal.
Nahin.
Both have no beginning.
They are no. I'll just I'll put it in a different. Brahma is different, and Chetan and Achetan is different. I'll
How are they
just put
different?
it.
Yeah.
I'll put it in a perspective. See, the Chetan, the energy. Today, humans. It is not that we have been humans forever. No, we have traveled a really long journey to be a human.
Yeah,
Right, we have
I
traveled
understand
a
what you're saying.
journey.
Yeah, I
We
understand.
have traveled a journey from a plant, from a seed, from a tree. Then we have been a crawling animal. Probably I don't know. I'm
Okay,
not saying
so
that I know
we're talking
everything.
about rebirth, different lives, basically. We come,
Yeah.
the
So
energy comes
every
independently.
energy, everything, point by point, we have so many yonis, so many
Seeker,
animals.
I understand what you're saying, but what I'm trying to, I'm talking about the fundamental point here. The Chetan, the energy that you're referring to, which is us now, yes, this energy, and you talked about Brahma. What you've said about both is that they're both eternal, right? No beginning,
Yes.
no end. So, what is
No end.
difference between Brahma and Chetan? What is the difference? Please tell me.
There's no difference.
So then, why?
That is the
Why?
whole point. Is that
Okay, so
that is the whole point.
why are you calling them two separate things if there's no difference?
So there's like the bottle and the water in the ocean, right? It is only the shape which is the difference. The bottle, the water there in the
Oh, okay.
ocean.
So what you're saying then is
The
that you are
shape.
Brahma.
Yeah, I am Brahma. You are Brahma. You are Bhagwan. See,
Okay,
the
so we're
word
getting to,
Bhagwan,
yeah.
the word Bhagwan, which we call, right? It is not necessary that we call to Bhagwan anybody, Bhagwan Ram, Bhagwan Krishna. No, I can call you Bhagwan Imran. I can
Okay,
call
no,
myself Bhagwan.
please don't do
The
that. But
point is that
yes,
no. The point is that what is that I can call anybody Bhagwan who has realized this thing, who has realized, and there are so many Mahatmas and so many in the past who have realized, and we call them Bhagwan. We call them
okay.
Bhagwan.
So Chetan, we need to wrap this up, bro. But look, here's
Yeah,
what.
yeah,
So
yeah.
are you saying that Brahma, you don't want to call Brahma God? Firstly, yeah, you don't want to refer to him as God, yeah.
See, we don't call anybody God. I can call you God. God is
Okay.
Bhagwan.
So
Bhagwan is like
okay,
Imran Bhagwan.
so here's what I'll say, just to wrap from my perspective.
Yeah.
What you said about Brahma, I would say this being that you're referring to, I would say this is the being that created everything, is the source of everything, right? We call this being Allah, right? We call Allah the eternal being, without beginning, without end, unlike anything you could imagine. However, where I would disagree with you is where you say that you and me as energy are a part of this being. The difference is what we say as Muslims is that we are not a part of the creation, is not what, call it energy or physical things, is not a part of God. God created these things via his will and his power, right? No, and these are limited things. These are ephemeral things. These are things that have limitations. Brahma, as you refer to, we say Allah is unlimited, eternal, without any deficiencies. Okay, so you can't associate deficient things, lowly things, weak things with this eternal being, because the eternal being is perfect and everything else is not perfect. So this is where I would disagree with you. Does that make sense?
Well, we will talk on this. We can
Let's pick
have
this. Let's
discussions
pick
on.
this up later. But
Yeah,
have a think about
yeah,
this
yeah.
as well, please. Yeah, and then
Yeah,
we'll pick up
definitely.
next week.
I will definitely. We can have these things a discussion on this. But I definitely will think of what you have told me, and
Mhm.
I also have a small thing to put forward before you end this.
Yes.
Right. Uh, I'll just give you a small experiment, Imran. Right, a small experiment. Right. I don't know whether you do it or you don't do it. That is a different thing. But I'll give you a small experiment. I'm not talking about God. I'm not talking about anything. I'm not talking about any Christianity or Islam or Hinduism or XYZ anything. Right, because this is the experiment which I have done, which I have experienced. So I am telling you on my personal things, right? You have if possible, you, I can see you are having a good house, probably a decent house, right? And you have a image of a zero, a nothing, a zero, image of a zero, right? You sit somewhere in quietness, and and try to get that zero inside you, right? That nothingness, or that whatever you can call that stillness, and try to get first. I'll tell you my experience, Imran. I'm not saying about anything else. I what I did, I see. I what I did, I took myself. A small place in my home. I had a small place, and in quietness, I just observed a zero, a nothingness, and slowly, with point of time, came a point where I got a mind where it is very calm, a mind where because see, I there is chitta, there is mana, which is that's going everywhere. If it is not possible for us to sit calm,
Mhm.
right? Because the mind is very strong,
Yes. Yes.
right? Mind and hriday is very strong. It won't allow you to sit at a single minute with calmness.
Mhm.
Some thought or other thought will come into you, right?
Yes.
It can
Yes.
be anything about your job, about your
Yep.
career, about your business, about your family, about XYZ. It won't allow you.
Mhm.
But you know if possible, if you are able to sit and
No,
slowly
this
observe the.
is it's a type of meditation. I can see it's about calming
Yeah,
the mind and
yeah,
removing the
and
distractions. Yeah.
and then when you sit there and you observe things within you, I'm not talking about outside things,
Mhm.
I'm talking something within you. When we start observing things within us, and when we start, we can feel it that something is rising, something is there, the
Yes.
energy, right? That things, it's a totally a different
Yeah.
experience. I cannot
We
put
have
it
some.
in words.
I know, I can appreciate that. We have something very similar. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called the Salah, the daily prayers that Muslims do, and it's
I
very powerful. It's very powerful because what we do is instead of focusing on nothing, what we do is we focus on our Creator, on Allah, and that connection with Him, and that in itself. Because as by the way, I haven't mentioned this yet, but I think it's a good point where God in the Quran told us that He created us for a purpose. Now we can discuss purpose maybe next time, what Hinduism says your purpose is as a human. But God tells us He created us to know Him and to worship Him. So when we connect with God, we remove all of these external distractions, worldly distractions, small things that bother us. And when we connect to God, the source of us, the one that created us, created our soul, we find peace and tranquility through doing this. And it's a beautiful experience. So we have our own type. You can call it a type of meditation, but I wouldn't call it meditation.
Definitely, definitely.
It's more of a
It is
connection.
not necessary. That is in Ramayana, right? We have a chaupai of Tulsi Das. It says, Hari Ananta, Hari Katha Ananta, Kahat Sunat Bahu Bidhi Sab Santa. It means the God is the Hari, the God is infinite.
I thought you didn't
Right,
believe in
his
God.
way. No, the Hari, see, we can call it God or Hari. We call Hari, right? I call Hari. So Hari Ananta means the God or the Hari is infinite. He is just there and he will always be there. And his stories or his ways are infinite to reach him. There are different saints and different beings who have come up and they have chosen their own ways to reach there. So this is the meaning of that thing ki Hari Ananta Hari Katha Ananta Kahata Sunata Bahu Bidhi Sab Santa. It means there are infinite saints, infinite human beings who have come on this earth and they have chosen their own ways to reach to that divine infinity or that divine Hari.
I guess we made some progress then. At least we're acknowledging that there is a divine, there is an infinity, there is an eternal cause. So that's, at least we can agree on that. There is an eternal cause.
Definitely. You see, that is the beauty of discussion, Imran. That these are the things, the point is that, see, I don't, Imran, I see a lot of,
Yeah, Sika, the only one thing I would say is, this sounds beautiful, the eternal, the divine. We're referring to the same being, the eternal, divine, perfect being who is unlike anything. But the only thing I would say, bro, is I would have a problem with your theology or your perspective. I wouldn't call it theology. Let's say your perspective is when we start associating lowly things, including us human beings, our souls, maybe not our physical bodies, we start associating these things with the divine perfect being, because we can't do this. On one side we say that this is the most perfect holy divine being, and on the other side say everything in creation is a part of this.
You're not or I am not the the lonely or a very low kind of a life. No, we are not
a
low kind of life.
We're not at the same time.
We are ourselves having the potential. The point is that we are ourselves having the potential, or we as human, and that is the beauty of the human life, having an erect spine, the 7 chakras, the 7 energy points in your body.
It is, my friend, but I agree. Human beings are very special creation. We believe this as Muslims.
But the point is that the only point is that
we're creation. We're not God.
We have just lost the path. We have just lost the path, and we have not lost the path. See, everybody is on the path. Everybody is there on the path. They are on a very long journey. Probably not in this janma, not probably on this birth. Right, we are all moving forward. We are all moving towards that one infinity. Probably today I'm Imran. Today my name is Mayank. Today your name is Imran. Tomorrow probably your name will be somebody else. Tomorrow you may not be a Muslim. Tomorrow you may be somewhere Christian or somewhere
so
here
this is
in
the
India.
idea of rebirth. So again, from
the point is that
perspective, we have a slightly different perspective on this as well, which is, we don't believe we go from life to life in this world, in this realm. We go from this life to the eternal life. And so there is a type of, you can say, a type of rebirth, but it's not a birth into this physical world. It's in the hereafter, which is an eternal life. And the soul continues.
I really enjoyed speaking with you, Imran.
Likewise, come back. Definitely come back. We'll definitely pick up on this next time.
Yeah, definitely, Imran. I think you have to wind up now.
Yes, I do, my friend. But listen, if you haven't, let me encourage you. If you haven't, have a read of the Quran. Get a translation if you can, and let me know your thoughts when you read it next time when you come.
Definitely. I will see. I'm open with things, right?
I
And
can
the
tell him.
point is that
That's why I suggested it.
I have some see Imran. ठीक है, definitely.
Have a
We'll
read and
talk
then come
about
back and
next
we'll
time.
talk about it next time. All right, man.
We'll
Take it
talk
easy.
about this next time. Take care, man.
Okay,
Take
Sika.
care.
Thank you.
No problem. Bye.
Okay, guys. So we'll wrap up there. Somewhat of an interesting discussion with the seeker. So yeah, may Allah bless you guys. And I will do another live inshallah at some point next week, so we can pick this up then inshallah. Till then, guys, take care. May Allah bless you, and I will speak to you guys soon. Assalamu alaikum.